Well, hello. This is Miss Janice, and I just wanted to make a quick video in regards to um, how to make the paper that you need in order to put your alphabet on it. I'm going to move the camera down, but if you need some help, you need a 8 by 11 and a half, just regular piece of paper. It doesn't necessarily have to be white. It just so happened that I have a white piece. And what I did was I folded it in half. Then I folded it in quarters. Then I folded it again. Then I folded it again. Then I folded it again. And so I'm going to open it again. I have one piece of paper. And I folded it in half. Then I folded it in half again. So that was fourths. And I folded it in half again. That was eighths. I folded it in half again. That was sixteenths. And I folded it in half again. And it made 32s, 1/32. That's basically fractions if you really think about it. You have one piece of paper, you fold it in half, so you put a 1, and then under the 1 you put a line that goes from left to right or right to left, depending on whether you're left-handed or right-handed. And then you put a 2 under that. Then if you fold it in half again, that makes 1/4. One piece of paper has 4 squares. Put a line, a 1, a line, and then a 4. This is basically sight math. And then you fold it in half again. Then you put a 1. You have one piece of paper. You put a 1, a line, and then you have 8 squares. And you fold it again. It's a 1, a line, and then you have 16 squares. Then you fold it in half again. You have 1, a line, and then that's 32 squares. And that's sight math. That's one of the ways I teach how to do fractions. And if you count the squares, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. So you have one piece of paper and you have 32 squares. If you had two pieces of paper with 32 squares, it'll be 2/64, like that. But like I said, that's sight math. That comes later. I love teaching fractions because not a lot of people know that fractions are the same thing as money. Like 1/4, 1 with a 4 under it, is actually a quarter from out of a dollar, which is 25 cents. And then that deals with decimals. You write a point, and then a 2, and then a 5. So anyway, that comes later. It's just that I get excited when I can relate things to different things, or can relate numbers. And as you learn, you're going to find out how exciting it is to be in school. Because what
usually happens is young people is that when we're in school, we learn or we're being taught, but in school, I'm not saying this is to be negative, but they don't teach you how to comprehend. They don't. You have to learn how to do that, and that's where God comes in. You have to ask God, how do I comprehend this, or how do I understand what is being said? And normally what happens is, because we're the type of people that when we say something, we picture it in our mind, and it helps us to receive it. But when it comes to reading, it's different. When it comes to reading, you need to read out loud. But in order to read, you need to know how to recognize the different alphabet or the letter, and then you have to remember what sound each letter makes. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the camera down, and then I'm going to put this piece of paper. It has 32 squares. So if you cannot do it on your own, and you can be 3, 4, 5. My daughter learned how to write when she was 3. I was teaching her when she was 2, and then she was 3, like that. And normally what I did with her is I taught her one letter at a time until she learned it. And I taught her how to do her name first. So, and that's the most exciting thing, is learning how to not only
say your whole name. My name is Janice Faye Osborne, and so it was not only exciting, or it's not only exciting to learn how to say your whole name, but it's even more exciting when you learn how to recognize your name. And so we would do things like write her name, and then we would have other stuff, and then like the word bird, the word cat, or the word non. It was, I mean, there is a word called non, but that's not what I meant to say. We just would make or write words that she would eventually learn later, but the first word was always her name. I give you an example. If you continually put like cat and dog and mouse and hand and foot and eye and nose, and then you put her name, then she would know all the other words was not her name. And then later on, she began to recognize the words that was not her name. She recognized her name first, and then we used to do all kinds of stuff like that, okay? And don't worry, we'll get an opportunity to learn those different things. So what I'm going to do, like I said, is I'm going to move the camera down so that I can show you how to write a letter. I'm going to take a little bit here. This is my messy desk over there. Can you see it? Okay, let's see. Okay, and I have a pen, and I'm left-handed. So one of the things that you want to practice is you want to practice how to hold a pen or a pencil. And I do have pencils, but I write with a pen. So you want to actually, if you don't have a pencil, you want to actually stop the tape or stop the video and to get one. Okay? So if you drop the pen or your pencil, you need to learn how to just practice picking it up the correct way. This is upside down, so I need to drop it again. Then I need it. And you want to hold the pen or the pencil, you want it to lay in this little groove right here. So if you're right-handed, you want to you have to have it lay in that groove right there, okay? And then you also, like in between your fingers, there's a couple of lines. Can you see that line right there? See, there's a line. It's a bend, really. Wait, I'll show you. There you go. See, there's a bend right there, and then there's a bend right here. But where the bends are in your fingers, they make lines. See, there's a bend right there, and so there's a line. Then there's a bend right here, and then there's a line. So you want to not only hold it, make sure that it's here, but you want to make sure that it's in one of the bends. Some people hold their pen like this and they write. Some people hold it like this and they write because they want to make sure that it's in one of the bends. And you want to be able to move it. But as I'm teaching, the reason I want to teach you this way is because this is the way you not only hold a pen or a pencil, but you also, when you're eating food, you eat like this. So it's basically the same way, except for you hold your hand in a different position, because now the food is like in the fork or on the fork. You pick up the meat, you cut it. My brother, he cuts his meat. He switches hands. He cuts his meat, and then he'll switch back and eat. Me, I do like this. I cut my meat, and then I flip my So you want to make sure that you hold your pencil the correct way. And if it drops, and this is like one of the little games that I play, and I try to drop it like weird, so I have to turn my hand around and pick it up the correct way. So, and you want to always try to, you don't want to pick up with one hand and then place it in there. You actually want to try to maneuver your hand around. Okay? That's one of the things. I do already have a video on www.therace.com so that you can go to that website and then you can see some of the writing videos that I have on there. God has let me know that you are asking him, how do I write? How can I write? And I remember, if you remember, I said that the young people that are talking to him are the ages between 3 and 12. And so that's letting me know that some people are told or instructed that their handwriting, they need to practice their handwriting. So when you're 3 and you're learning how to write, it's not as hard because, like right now, I'm going to tell you that you need to take your time. Anytime you do anything that deals with school, you need to take your time, and you need to be able to learn at the pace that you learn at. And you can ask your teacher, can you please slow down, or and then also I want you to remember that sound, the sound like that you are to make when you're in school, that puts the Spirit of God back into the school. You can, I'm making the sound now, but I have my mouth closed, so you don't have to make the sound out loud. But you do need to make the sound. And the reason you want to make that sound on a daily basis is because you're actually saying Jesus. That's what the sound represents. You're actually saying Jesus, and you're asking him for your help. And you know he's going to help you because you've already begun to express to him the different things that you feel, or that you believe, or that you understand, or that you know that you need help with. And he has activated me in order for me to help you with those things. Okay? All right. So right here in the first block, I moved kind of fast. There you go. In the first block, see, that's a block right there. And you want to write the letter A, and you want it to be the capital A. But what we're going to do first, before we even get to this letter A box, because this is where the A is going to be, that's the ah, and all sound. This is where the B is going to be, that's the B sound. This is where the C is going to be, that's the K or the S sound. And this is where the D is going to be, that's the D sound. And this is where the E is going to be, and that's the E or the E sound. And this is where the F is going to be, and that's the F sound. And this is where the J is, excuse me, this is where the G is going to be, and that's the J or the G sound. And this is where the H is going to be, and that's the H sound. So we're going to stay right there for just a second. But I want to tell you just a little secret that not too many people know. If you know how to write a capital I and a lowercase I, and you know how to write a capital O and a lowercase o, you know how to write every letter and every number in the English alphabet and number system. Every letter and every number in the English alphabet and numerical system. Not too many people know that. Not too many people also know that if you read math out loud, you can understand it better. These are little secrets that the Lord has given me to give to you. The reason I folded the paper is because I'm going to act as if I am going to write a capital I. Okay? So if you want to write a capital I, you go from left to the right or from the right to the left, and you make a line. You go left to the right and right or left or right to the left, and you make a line. And then you want to make a line that starts at the top and goes down to the bottom. That starts at the top and goes down to the bottom. That starts at the top and goes down to the bottom. And then when you're at the bottom, you want to lift up your pencil, and you want to go either from the left to the right or from the right to the bottom. You want to go either from the left to the right or from the right to the bottom. I'm saying it backwards because I'm looking in the camera while I'm talking. But really, if I'm doing it right, this is left to the right, and that's right to the bottom. I mean, right to the left. Okay, so that's the capital I. And then the lowercase I is that same movement. Remember I said you start at the top of the paper and you go down. Okay, you start at the top of the paper and then you go down. And the difference is you lift up your pencil and you make a dot and you go. And that's the dot. The dot looks like that. Okay? And then if you want to make a capital O, you start anywhere you like. You start at the top of the paper and go here, and then you meet where you started off at. You can start to the right, and then you go make a circle, and then you still have to meet to where you started at, or you can go the opposite direction. You can start here and go this way. It depends on if you're left-handed or right-handed, I believe. I'm left-handed, and I usually go this way. I usually start at the top, and then I go this way. But I do know that some people, when they write numbers, they start at the bottom, and then they go this way. Like if they was writing a 0, they would go And then if there's writing a 9, there we go. And make that line down. And I know I'm kind of going a little bit fast, and I don't mean to, but I need for you to remember that if I am going a little bit fast, you stop the video, and then you can start over, or you can drag it back a little ways, okay? And then if you need any help, please, if you need help for these instructions to be even simplified even more, because everyone learns differently. Everyone does not learn the same. So you need to remember that you are special and that God wants you to learn the way that you are to learn. You don't have to learn like I've learned it, or your friend learned it, or your sister or your brother learned it. If you can't get it, you make the sound and you ask God for directions or ask God for help, and He will help you. He will help you. He will help you to learn what you need to learn, because He wants to use you at the age that you are. And He and I both want you to be the best that you can be, because He has put the best on the inside of you. I wanted this tape to be 15 minutes, and it's going over just a little. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the page, and I'm going to make a capital A. So you start at the top like I showed you when you're making a capital I. The difference is you're going to put it on an angle. If you're writing an I, you're going straight up and down. You start at the top and you go down. But when you're making a capital A, you turn your arm or your elbow pointing outward, and then you go down. You start at the top and you still go down to the bottom. So it's like this and like that. Okay, and then you lift your pencil, and then you start at the top and you go to the bottom, and you go from the top to the bottom. Then you lift your pencil again. And remember when you was making the capital I said you either go from the left to the right or from the right to the left. Do you remember that? So that's the top. So let's make that now. And let me see if you can see it. Nope. There you go. That's what a capital A looks like. Right there. Okay, now we're going to flip over the paper. And then we're going to make a lowercase. Remember I said if you know how to make a lowercase o or a capital O, that you can write every letter and every number in the alphabet, American alphabet and numerical, I don't know if I said system or not. I'm sorry, I don't remember what word I used, but you'll know how to make every letter and every number in the English language. I believe that's what I said. Okay, so in order to make a capital O, you make the circle. In order to make a lowercase o, you make the circle. Okay, so now we're going to make a lowercase a using a lowercase o. So we're going to start here, and then we're going to go around. Did you see how my hand did that? Okay, and then we're going to make as if we're making a lowercase I. We're going to connect it to the O. Let me see if I can bring this camera down just a little. There. And you start here at the top, and then you go down. You start here at the top, then you go down. Okay? Now remember I said a lowercase I, you go start at the top and you go down, you make a dot. See, that's the lowercase I. That's the way you make a lowercase I. You start at the top, you go to the bottom, and then you make a dot. Okay? But we don't need the dot because we're making a lowercase a. And that sound reads a, and a. A, and a. Now there is a video already made, so if you want to, you can stop this video and then go to www.therace.com, and you will see, like, not only will you see that, but you'll see this page being made, and then another video how to stretch your arm. Here, let me see if I can move this back up. What that video does is you stretch your is writing exercises. Let me see if I can move back just a little. And so the video starts here. You're making the capital I and a capital capital I, a capital O, a lowercase I, and a lowercase o. That's how you start. That's how we started the video. And you start here. You go from the top to the bottom, top to the bottom, and then top to the bottom, and we're slowly bringing our arm toward us. And then when your arm gets to like right about here, you don't move your whole arm, you just move your wrist. Top, bottom, top, bottom. And then from there, you put your hand here, because this is basically where your hand, this is basically where your hand touches when it's on paper. And then you stop moving your wrist, and now you're doing the same motion with your finger. That same motion with your finger. And then I ask you to bend over to your paper, and so that way you're only using the pen and the pencil, and you're going here like that. And then on the paper you're making a line. And then I told you that in order to make the A, capital A, is you have to turn your elbow outward or away from your body, and then because you have to make a slant, and this is called a slant. This is straight up and down, but this is on a slant or at an angle. Okay, and so there are videos that teach you how to write all of the alphabet according to that rule. If you know how to make a capital A, a capital I and a lowercase I, a capital O and a lowercase o, you know how to write every number and letter in the English alphabet and numerical system. Okay. When you know how to make a capital I and a lowercase I, a capital O and a lowercase o, you know how to write every number and letter in the American language. Okay? And I for the life of me right now, and I don't know why I'm saying it not correct each time. I guess because I'm human, huh? Anyway, this is Miss Janice, and I am praying for you. And God loves the fact that you are talking to Him. And He said one time that you are beginning to ask Him why. Because you hear Him saying, "Little one, I like talking to you, and I like hearing you talk to me." And some of you are asking why. And the reason is because He likes to hear your voice. So you be encouraged and look for more videos. Ask your mom, your dad, your cousins, your aunts, your uncles, whoever the grown-up is in your house to help you to find Miss Janice videos. Because as you pray, the Lord gives me things to say to you. And He allows me to hear some of your prayers. Not every one of them, because it gets kind of, I'm going to be honest with you, it gets kind of scary. I mean, it really does get kind of scary. And there's some of you that are seeking Him for ways to do certain things, and it's awesome, it's beautiful. Okay, so you continually talk to the Lord, because He hears you, and not only does He hear you, He is allowing you to hear Him. You be blessed and have a nice evening or a nice day. Bye for now.